In this video, I want to go over the basic lore of the Sultanate, including how they came to be involved in the war against Hell, and then focus on one of the most powerful parts of their arsenal in the war, the Alchemists. Let's begin. When the infidels opened the thrice cursed gates to Jahannam, releasing the Gog and Magog upon those who believe, it seemed that all was lost, and that the devil would emerge victorious over Dunya. But the creator of the universe came to the aid of the faithful, and, as had been written, the great iron wall manifested itself in the lands ruled by the Sultan of Rum. A call was sent to those who believe righteously, and over the coming decades the migration of all the faithful, second in importance only to the Hijraj of the Prophet himself, took place across Europe, Asia and Africa. Millions perished on the road and at the sea, for the heretics and their devil lords swarmed them as locusts swarm fields of ripe sesame, devouring them and building vile monuments and statues from their limbs and heads, so they could not be buried, as is decreed in the holy texts. But once all those who survived the journey had come, the mighty gates were closed, and the great sultanate of the invincible iron wall of the two horns that pierced the sky was formed. The assaults of the slaves of Jahannam against the Sultanate have never ceased since that day, and each day new martyrs are mourned as they defend the walls and confront the heretics who have overcome its defences. But within the walls the lost knowledge flourishes, and from the mosques of white marble and gold the muezzin call the faithful to pray for the success of the Sultan's armies, as it struggles to protect the lands within the wall and defend the caravan trails that provide the Sultanate with vital trade goods. The Iron Wall is the greatest defensive work in the world, a mighty bulwark festooned with the famed artillery of the Sultan. Azeb sharpshooters stand at ready, ever watchful for surprise attacks, and the elite Janissary regiments have barracks at set intervals near the walls so they can react to any attack at speed that is brought against the power of the Sultanate. During a more serious incursion, a full muster of Azebs is called, and the Iron Sultanate House of Wisdom unleashes its terrifying Taquin creations upon the foe. And if the need is desperate, the Sultan himself comes forth, and his Janissaries march with him to do battle. Thus the protection of the Iron Wall has had an extensive influence on the Sultanate way of war. The conscripted Azebs are experts at feigned flight and skirmish, while the loping lions of Jabir harass the enemy flanks. All the while the superb artillery of the Sultan bombards the enemy as they make their torturous journey across the battlefield, littered with traps set by the skilled sappers. When they reach the ranks of the faithful, the Janissaries, Sultan's elite household troops, close in and finish the enemy with their devastating countercharge, led by their iron-willed officers. Dreaded assassins from the Alamut prowl in the winds of time strike the enemy elites and leaders, while the alchemists of the House of Wisdom unleash devastating weapons made deadly by their elemental mastery, capable of overcoming defences of virtually any foe. Beyond the Iron Wall, forces of the Sultan operate in small, mobile companies, each with a particular mission to accomplish. They hunt down apostates that have gone to serve Shaitan, looking for the relics from the time of the Prophet, or seek to recover lost treasure and books of knowledge from the ruins of the fallen caliphates. Though an understanding between the Church and the Sultanate on being co-belligerents against the forces of Hell exist, the commanders of these expeditions will tolerate no interference and do not hesitate to crush those who would hinder their mission. Resentment against the infidels who unleashed Gog and Magog runs deep into the Sultanate, and matters of honour are swiftly resolved with duels to the death. Woe to those who dare to hinder the mission of those who believe. The Alchemists are the battlefield mystics and artificers of the great Sultanate of the Iron Wall, schooled in the hidden knowledge of the legendary tablet within the House of Wisdom. Admission to open any with the will and intellect deemed sufficient, be they man or woman. To become an alchemist is no easy task. They undergo many trials on their path to mastery. First are the countless lessons of the newly initiated, studying the Jabirian corpus, translating the keys of Solomon, and learning all the fundamental disciplines of their primeval science. Only after 7 years of study, under the watchful and exacting eyes of the High Alchemagi, is an aspirant allowed to attempt the 3 trials required for full membership in the order. The first is to create a suit of alchemist armour, which protects against harm. This is an essential tool of their craft, festooned with the seals of Solomon, which enables them to bend the elements of creation to their will and shield them even from the devices of hell. Next, they must create a Taquin servant, a homunculus creature of artificial life and intellect. If the candidate manages to follow the complex formula, as well as the intricate timing and temperature requirements, the creature will emerge after 40 days of toil. It will act as the alchemist's living tool of creation, for the hands of fine motor skills, well beyond even the nimblest craftsman. Vaguely shaped like a small human, it can change the consistency of its body to an almost liquid-like slime, to squeeze into alchemical chambers, to do their master's bidding in extreme temperatures and in the fog of poisonous chemical fumes. Many aspirants fail here, and their creation emerges from its golden celestial sphere a deformed monstrosity, filled with hatred towards its creator. It burrows itself into the alchemist's body to consume it from within, wearing a would-be master as a skin. The third and final test is opening their third eye, the key to cosmic illumination, which allows them to see the building blocks of creation and thus be able to ensure that the elements they are using are in perfect balance. Those that fail their final tests are horribly changed. Their third eye swells to nightmare proportions and melds with their original pair, driving the aspirant mad during the process of their deformation. They spend the rest of their pitiful lives screaming of the unseen horrors all around them revealed to them. Out of mercy, alchemists that fail in this way are often put down, but there are rumours of cabals of these living failures kept alive for reasons unknown. An alchemist that has passed all 3 trials is formidable indeed, a master of esoteric powers, able to control fire and ice, metal and liquid, capable of creating intricate mechanical devices and artificial life, as well as weapons of calamitous potency. In exchange for the freedom to practice their arts, the alchemists supply the Sultanate with the peerless Jabarian battle lions, and serve on the front line with their devastating alchemical compounds that melt the flesh from the bones of enemies of the believers, dissolving even through the toughest armour. So that wraps up our coverage of the Iron Sultanate. If you like the lore, if you have opinions on it, drop me a comment down below. And if you like this video on the Trench Crusade, try this one.